I am telling you, you will never see something so egregious in terms of like just how much they lied here. If this footage did not exist, this 19-year-old's life would be ruined. This week, 2 cops in Patterson, New Jersey were charged with assaulting a 19-year-old and filing a false police report. Now, this story is incredible in just how egregious these police officers were. So the 19-year-old, Osamah Alsaidi, says that he left his home one night late last year. I think it was November or December 14th, just after midnight. And he was leaving his home, walking down his own block, headed to work. He works as an Amazon delivery man. And on his way to work, he has an altercation with the police. And I'm saying altercation now because we're going at it as if we don't know based on the footage yet. He is going to work in this altercation with police. And according to police, they charged him with aggravated assault on a law enforcement officer, disorderly conduct, and resisting arrest. They claimed that they were sent to the area. They were assigned there. And the 19-year-old started walking towards the officers, screaming profanities and acting belligerent, causing a disturbance to the residents. The officers ignored the male, who was identified as Osamah Alsaidi, and after a few moments, the male got closer to the officers and got into a fighting stance, an aggressive fighting stance, blading his body and clutching his fist. He proceeded to get closer to the officer and struck the officer with a closed fist at the chest area, causing the officer to stumble back. The officer then proceeded to strike Alsaidi, and that's how they got into an altercation that resulted in Alsaidi, the 19-year-old, being arrested and being charged with those things I just mentioned. Now, that seems like, oh man, who knows what happened there, right? You can't really. First of all, the general public would obviously believe the police, right? 19-year-old boy walking around with bravado, like, pounding his chest after midnight, probably drunk or on drugs or something, right? People skeptical of the police, like you or me, are like, I don't believe that scenario. I have no idea what went on there. I would love to know more. Even I could not expect something this egregious, and that's probably why these 2 officers in Patterson, New Jersey, were just charged, federal charges, by the way. The Justice Department had to get involved because of how corrupt the local law enforcement department, the police department, is in terms of what went on here. This video, the cops had no body cams on. There was no footage of this altercation until this. I'm guessing the 19-year-old went to the local neighborhood. Remember, he lives on the block, and started asking around, what, do you have ring footage? Something like he got security camera footage. And I am telling you, you will never see something so egregious in terms of like just how much they lied here. And this 19-year-old was facing these charges. These charges were dropped and this federal investigation happened only as a result of this footage I'm about to show you. If this footage did not exist, this 19-year-old's life would be ruined because of these cops. Watch this footage. It's just stunning. All right, so you're watching this footage. That's the cop's car and here's Alsaidi, the 19-year-old, completely not doing anything. Hands in his hoodie pocket. Now watch this. They grab him. They start beating on him, fist to the face. These are 2 cops in an undercover vehicle beating the shit out of this 19-year-old, completely unprovoked, no reason whatsoever. They are grabbing him, holding him down, The one who wasn't punching him in the face repeatedly is now tackling him to the floor. Now they are punching and kicking him on the floor. A third officer rolls in, and now he's stopping a witness to this from getting any closer. Fourth officer now comes to the scene. Just stunning. So to just go back here, we see in the footage here, the cops roll up, block off this boy's path, this 19-year-old's path. He's completely shocked, taken by surprise. His hand's still in his pocket, though. The cops accost him, go right up to him. They get in his face. He never moves towards them. Remember, they said he came at them, cursing and screaming at them in a fighting stance, and then he punched the officer in the chest first. His hands never leave his pocket before this cop starts punching him repeatedly in the face, and then they tackle him to the floor. Now, unfortunately, while two of these officers have been stripped of their weapon and are facing federal charges, the 19-year-old Alsaidi said that there was actually one of those third officers actually assaulted him on the way to the precinct when he was cuffed. Unfortunately, there's no footage of that, and it seems like that officer is not getting charged with anything and is getting away with it. But after that person just called in, that caller from the Bronx, to tell me his experience just walking home with the pizza pie, it made me think of this case. These officers were just charged this week, federal charges from the Justice Department. You would have never seen this happen. You would have seen this 19-year-old stuck with these false charges, these fake trumped up charges, because the cops filed a false report. To this day, if it wasn't for this footage. Unbelievable. I mean, not unbelievable, completely believable. Just so disgusting that I guess I was just looking for a go-to word to voice my disgust and my shock and outrage.